Hello, a very good evening to you. Welcome to ITV News. This is Wednesday night's calendar.
Hello, thank you for joining us, and here are tonight's main stories.
Nothing will ever be the same. Tributes to the teenager who was stabbed to death near Leeds as a community mourns the loss of a young life.
As the events unfolded, he just realised the enormity of what had happened. And since then, there's been shock throughout the whole community of Horsforth, really.
Lewis was described by his family today as one in a million. Tonight, an investigation into his murder is underway.
My heart goes out to the family and friends of the young person who was tragically killed.
We'll have the latest live from Horsforth. Also on the programme, a Bradford MP quits over Gaza. Imran Hussain leaves Labour's front bench amid a row around calls for a ceasefire.
Tighter rules around nitrous oxide is welcomed by campaigners in West Yorkshire. But why is laughing gas so dangerous, and will new laws make a difference? And
with you every step, Rob Burrow and Kevin Sinfield on why they've put pen to paper to capture the true meaning of friendship and what they have in store for their next epic challenge. Very good evening to you. A devastated family has paid tribute to their one in a million boy who had the biggest heart after he was fatally stabbed near a school near Leeds.
Alfie Lewis, who was 15 years old, has today been named as the victim of yesterday's knife attack in Horsforth. The Prime Minister has described his death as awful.
Within the last few hours, West Yorkshire Police have confirmed a 14-year-old boy was arrested on suspicion of murder shortly afterwards, and he remains in custody. A 16-year-old boy was also arrested on suspicion of murder yesterday evening, but has now been released without charge.
Well, this is the scene in Horsforth this evening. These are live pictures. The road has just reopened after being closed for a little over 24 hours as officers continue to investigate the events that unfolded here and which have left a community in shock. John Hill has our top story.
Just a stone's throw from his home, the bench where Alfie Lewis used to meet his friends has now become his memorial. There are flowers, soft toys, candles which spell out his name. The 15-year-old described as loving, mischievous, adventurous and extremely popular. Today his mum joined with Alfie's friends at the bench that's become the focal point for their grief. It's a quarter of a mile from the scene where Alfie lost his life, just outside St Margaret's Primary School. It was just before 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon when he was stabbed. Alfie, who was a former pupil of Horsforth School, was taken to hospital in a critical condition but died last night. Today, police have been searching through undergrowth for evidence, trawling drains in the hunt for clues. And for locals, there's a profound sense of shock.
I live very near to Horsforth School on Greenbanks Avenue, and there was quite a heavy police presence, which was a bit unnerving.
I'm just really shocked, that this could happen here, really. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Could hear the helicopters, because I live quite near, could hear the helicopters last night going around, thought what's happened, and just never expect anything like this.
As police go about their work, the Prime Minister passed his comment on yet another victim of knife crime.
My heart goes out to the family and friends of the young person who was tragically killed. And what I want to say is we're doing everything we can to clamp down, particularly on knife crime, as it impacts young people.
It's tragic, isn't it? It's devastating that yet again another young person in West Yorkshire has died, and died in the most horrific circumstances. And as much as we are doing, and a lot is being done, we're not doing enough, because if we were, these young people would still be here.
At the local church, an area of prayer and reflection has been set up, and a graffiti wall if youngsters want to leave their tributes in their own way.
Well, it was a terrible shock to everybody yesterday, and obviously as the events unfolded, he just realised the enormity of what had happened. And since then, there's been shock throughout the whole community of Horsforth, really, and we've been looking to respond to that, and people have been coming together, supporting each other. It's been heartwarming to see that response.
Horsforth's MP has visited the scene and is in touch with school head teachers as they try to reassure pupils.
It's almost impossible to find the words, I think. There is just a complete sense of shock, utter devastation for the family. We can't really comprehend how they must be feeling right now. And I know that from all the messages that I've seen that there's just an enormous amount of love and support for the family at this difficult time. But also I think for the wider school family, there's 2 schools here that have been affected by this.
Tonight, police have urged people to avoid unhelpful speculation about Alfie's murder. But detectives do want to hear from anyone who can help shed light on just how he came to lose his life.
Well, John, we heard there in your report a real shock to the community, and there have been tributes from Alfie's family this evening, haven't there? What else did they have to say?
Yes, Alfie's family have issued a statement this evening through West Yorkshire Police, and I think we can show you just a little bit of that on the screen. They say, Alfie, you were 1 in a million. So funny and an all-round entertainer with your rapping and dancing feet. We love you so much. Nothing will ever be the same without you. You will shine in the sky as bright as you did in all our lives. I love you more than words can say, and you will always be with us forever. So that statement from Alfie's family tonight. To recap, yes, within the last half hour, this road, Church Road, one of the main roads through Horsforth, and a very busy road, well, that's reopened. Does it give some semblance of normality back to this town? Probably not. And finally, to recap, a 14-year-old boy remains in police custody on suspicion of Alfie's murder.
John, live in Horsforth for us tonight. Thank you very much.
Yes, a terribly sad story. Also tonight, a West Yorkshire MP and Labour frontbencher has resigned from his role over Sir Keir Starmer's position on the crisis in the Middle East.
Imran Hussain, an MP who represents Bradford East, says he supports Labour's agenda, but that his view on Gaza differed substantially from the position Sir Keir has adopted.
Well, those in his constituency tonight have backed their MP, while one senior shadow minister has denied there's a split within the party. Matt Price reports.
How many thousands of innocent Palestinians must be slaughtered before this?
It is now almost 24 hours since the Bradford East MP and Shadow Minister issued his resignation letter to the Labour leader. Keir Starmer will no doubt be reeling tonight, having lost his first Shadow Ministerial team member over the Israel and Hamas war. In his letter, Imran Hussain MP said, "It has become clear that my view on the ongoing humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza differs substantially from the position you have adopted. A ceasefire is essential to ending the bloodshed, to ensuring that enough aid can pass into Gaza and reach those most in need." At Mr Hussain's office in Bradford here today, there has been limited activity. We understand that he's working in Westminster. Callender approached his office for a comment today. As of yet, we've had no response. Today, those in his constituency believe he's right to stick by his beliefs.
He used to stick with his principles because of what we need to do. We all need to fight for to stop what's happening in the Gaza. Why they're killing the people?
Is he right to stick to what he believes in?
I think there should be a ceasefire for what's going on in Gaza because innocent people are dying.
In recent days, the mayors of London and Manchester, Sadiq Khan and Andy Burnham, have added their voices to those within the Labour Party demanding a ceasefire. Shadow Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson, who was questioned today about the resignation, wouldn't be drawn on whether there is a big divide in the party.
Lots of our colleagues have got connections to the region. They have that lived experience. They feel strongly. I think that's a strength of our party, and of course it's right that we're able to discuss this between colleagues and arrive at a position. So I know that it's important, of course it is, but our primary focus, all of us, we all want to see more humanitarian aid into Gaza, more food, more water, more medicines.
Keir Starmer has resisted calls for a full ceasefire, instead backing a humanitarian pause to allow aid into Gaza. But Mr Hussain's resignation ultimately puts Starmer's leadership under strain. Matt Price, ITV News, Bradford.
Reliance on emergency handouts in our region is on the rise, according to fresh figures from the UK's biggest food bank network.
The Trussell Trust, who operate more than half of registered food banks, distributed a record number of emergency food parcels between April and September this year.
Well, the charity says the cost of living crisis continues to squeeze household budgets hard and that welfare payments are still falling well below the price of essentials. Nick Smith reports.
Here at this food bank in Bradford, volunteers are preparing for a busy winter. They've recorded a significant increase in people needing support in the area in recent months, especially with food inflation prices remaining high.
So we are seeing a really big uplift of the number of people that need our services at the moment. So we're up to about 1,500 people a month that we're feeding. This year we've seen a much bigger increase in the numbers of people that we saw last year, and then we always have a big uplift in the winter. So so the rest of the year sort of feeding about 1,200, 1,300 people, but now in the winter it's gone up to about 1,500.
Demand for emergency parcels has seen a sudden jump in our region, with the Trussell Trust distributing approximately 112,000 food parcels between April and September. That's a 26,000 increase on the same period last year. And they now have a record 103 food banks operating across the Yorkshire and Humber region. Sharon Spice went onto Universal Credit after losing her job as an administrator. But in the 5-week wait for her first payment, she was left with no choice but to turn to food banks.
I never thought that it would come to me having to find a food bank, use a food bank, and also borrow from friends and family. Benefit systems is supposed to be a safety net, it's supposed to cover your bills and your basic essentials. So I was quite shocked when I realised that Universal Credit didn't cover my basics. My dietary requirements changed, my electricity went, and I couldn't afford my basics, even down to like your personal hygiene items.
The reason people end up having to turn to a food bank is because their incomes are just too low to cover the cost of essentials. The single biggest reason for that is that our social security system doesn't have a link between the amount of money you get in Universal Credit, for instance, and the actual cost of essentials. We've never had that link. And that's what's driving more and more people to the doors of food banks. We're seeing increasing numbers of children, particularly, growing up in families facing hunger and extreme hardship.
The Department for Work and Pensions told ITV News, "We are providing a record £94 billion support package to help with the rising cost of bills, including cost of living payments to over 8 million households, raising benefits by over 10% and helping people with essentials through the Household Support Fund." But those on the front lines of the charity sector say this still isn't enough to stop record numbers from needing to rely on the goodwill of donations this winter. Nick Smith, ITV News.
Well, thanks for being with us for Wednesday night's calendar with Lara and Ian, and still to come before 6:30. Look who we met today. Kevin Sinfield, Rob and Lindsay Burrow, all joining us in the studio as they reveal what the next fundraising feat will be.
And we had to put up with quite a bit of rain around first thing this morning, with a slowly brightening story into the afternoon. I'll have your forecast for the rest of the week and a hint towards the weekend a little later on.
Thank you very much, Kerry. Now, did you know that so-called laughing gas has been made illegal from today if someone's planning to inhale it?
Nitrous oxide can cause serious health problems, which is why it's now been made a Class C drug. Anybody found with it could face an unlimited fine or even a prison sentence if they've been caught repeatedly.
But will it keep young people safer here in our region? Well, James Webster has been investigating.
Getting out of her flat is now always a challenge for Kerry Ann. She's lost the feeling in her legs because of her addiction to the high she got from laughing gas. At times, she'd inhale 600 canisters in a week.
I don't want to not be able to walk or not be able to just pick up a glass or a fork to eat food or like. So I did completely stop and I did get better and I was walking again, everything, but unfortunately I fell back into a depressive state, but this time I overdid it even worse than what I did the first time.
Nitrous oxide often comes in tiny canisters like these, and it can be bought legally for use in catering for whipping cream. But large containers like this seen dumped on the streets show how often it's inhaled by young people. It's now considered a Class C drug, and anyone found with it could be fined or even jailed if they're inhaling it repeatedly.
Well, we expect it will significantly reduce the use of nitrous oxide. It is fuelling antisocial behaviour in public places, in parks, on high streets, and we're deeply concerned about that. We're also concerned about the emerging evidence of medical damage that it's causing.
Doctors believe prolonged use can deactivate the vitamin B12, putting the user at risk of neurological problems, something this clinician has seen all too often.
We put out a TikTok video with me explaining about the symptoms. Common presentations, we see young people, usually around about 23, 24, presenting with tingling and numbness, difficulty walking or unable to walk. I've got a neurosurgical colleague that's had a shunt, 3 patients who nearly went blind. That's probably from the lack of oxygen to the brain, because nitrous oxide itself only lasts for 30, 60 seconds and people are repeatedly ballooning.
It's a problem they made a real effort to deal with in Bradford during the pandemic.
We go into schools, we go into colleges, we go into local faith places, madrasas and mosques, and educate elders as well as young people and in youth clubs to say these are the dangers of nitrous oxide. This is a long-term effect it will have on yourself, on also your family members and also your community members.
Sophia and Sharat started by mapping where empty canisters were found, so they then knew where to concentrate their education.
What we found was actually it wasn't one particular area in the Bradford district, it was actually everywhere. Young people worked with us on that, there was ownership around that, and really then we began to campaign, myself, Sharat Hussain, began to campaign on the harms around this and educate young people, whether that was via workshops, whether that was online.
And it is education, not simply banning nitrous oxide, that Carrie-Anne believes is the answer.
There's no point telling someone that's 18, don't do this, don't do that. You're going to make them want to do it even more. You can't push someone to do something. But if you educate them and let them know this could be the repercussions or this could be your life, then in the end, they're going to decide for themselves.
She hopes sharing her story will help more young people see that the serious consequences they risk are not worth any brief high that they are hoping for. James Webster, ITV News.
Yes, it's really shocking to hear how damaging it can be.
It certainly is, yes. Now, welcome back, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Do you remember Kerry?
I was just looking at her as if to say I recognise her.
Hiya, yeah, I had a fortnight off. You've had nearly a fortnight off. It's lovely to be back together,
Good
all
to be
three
back,
of us.
yeah.
Not the greatest of mornings to come back though. It was really
a bit
soggy
miserable,
first
wasn't
day.
it?
Yeah, really unsettled, and we've slowly improved today. I preferred yesterday. It was sunshine and showers, and Philip Needham caught this great cumulonimbus capillatus cloud in Maltby. Now, cumulus means the heat cloud, nimbus, the rain, the spell of rain, and the capillatus means those fibrous clouds forming. You can see in the distance there, or as the Collins Dictionary suggests, I think it's a disorderly mass of hair, so it's a bad hair day kind of cloud, and we could see one or two of those tomorrow because it is a mix of sunshine and showers, and we could see a few rainbows, a slightly different rainbow higher up in the sky, not caught by Andrew Clark of Rotherham, Grandad Andrew. It was actually spotted by Isla, who is 6, and Louis and Leah, who are 4-year-old twins. You can never be too young to catch a circumzenithal arc and never too old to catch a silly shape in a cloud. Can you see it? It didn't go so well last time I did this.
Give us a clue.
Well, I don't need to give you a clue because Di has done a little diagram there. Do you see the donkey?
Oh, I can see it now.
No.
Yeah, you can see it. It's there, absolutely. Anyway, love a shape in a cloud. Keep them coming. Weather photos at itv.com. But if you don't want to go cloud spotting, you can look in the night sky because Venus is closing in on a waning crescent moon during the early hours. So the moon rises about 2:30, and quite shortly after that, you'll see Venus heading towards that moon just before sunrise. So you can see that into the early hours. And it's a mixture overnight tonight. It's not completely clear, patchy cloud and clear spells.
Something to look out for. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And you've got a lovely capillatus, if you don't mind me saying so.
Oh, thanks very much. Thanks.
Now then, finally this evening, it was undoubtedly one of the defining images of the year. Kevin Sinfield carrying his friend Rob Burrow over the finish line at this year's inaugural Leeds Marathon.
Yes, it beautifully captures the love and respect shown between both men who played rugby league together for many years.
Well, today Kevin, Rob and his wife Lindsay came into the ITV studios to talk about their latest collaboration on a book about friendship. But first, here's Chris Dawkes with a quick reminder of their incredible journey together.
It's a friendship forged on the rugby field. Rob Burrow and Kevin Sinfield shining lights in a golden generation of Leeds Rhinos players who won trophy after trophy over a 15-year period. When Rob spoke publicly about his motor neurone disease diagnosis, it was Kevin by his side.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah. A couple of deep breaths.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's done.
Since then, Kevin has raised over £8 million for the MND community with a series of gruelling mental and physical challenges. The Rob Burrow Centre for Motor Neurone Disease in Leeds, soon to be a tangible legacy. Every step, every mile covered is a symbol of this everlasting friendship, a bond that endures and inspires.
Yes, certainly they are the best of friends, aren't they? And I'm delighted to say that both Rob and Kevin can join us in the studio, along with Rob's lovely wife, Lindsay. Thank you all so much for being here. If I can start with you, Rob, I'll come back to the two of you in a moment, but why have you written a very special book about your friendship with Kevin?
I wanted to do this book with Kevin to highlight the importance of friendship and show that there are many ways to be strong. And I'm hoping the book will appeal to young boys in particular to show that friendships can be based on love and vulnerability. True friends like Kevin are always with their friends even when times are tough. I used to love reading stories to my 3 young children, and I hope that this book will give them an insight into what true friendship is.
And Kevin, I mean, obviously when this idea came about, this was something you thought, yeah, we must do this.
Yeah, this sort of the last 4 years have been a bit of a journey, and I think the more things we've been able to do together, we've jumped at. Obviously, we had Rob's marathon back in May, and this was far easier to do than the marathon. But it was good fun, and as Rob has just said, it's a celebration of friendship, certainly our friendship, and we're pretty proud of it.
What is it about Kevin that makes him such a truly special friend to you?
Kev was my captain and he still is my captain. He always will be. We've played together for years. We sat next to each other in the dressing room. We went through the highs and lows of rugby league. The highs were amazing, but he always looked after us. And here he is now still looking after us all. He doesn't like fuss and he won't like me saying it, but he puts his body on the line every time he steps up to start a challenge. He could give James Bond a run for his money. And he always has a cheeky message for me when I see him. You will see him say a few words in my ear, and those words are normally funny or not repeatable.
He's a cheeky one, isn't he?
You know, I think your friendship together is one that a lot of people would love to have, in actual fact. It's very, very special. And Lindsay, I'm sure it's been a strength to you, has it, throughout the whole time that Rob has had the illness?
Absolutely. I mean, Kevin's been there from day one, and you know what he's done for Rob takes a really special kind of person to do that, to kind of go out of his comfort zone and do all these crazy challenges and raise so much awareness and funds for, you know, for the M&D community. It just takes something really special, and I know Rob has said it many times, but everybody needs a friend like Kev.
So when we flick through this book, I mean, it's just so lovely. Some of the things, you know, I've never been prouder to call you my friend. It's just absolutely lovely, isn't it? So I think, you know, what would you say, Lindsay, is the standout comment in this for you that sort of sums up their friendship?
I think just that special bond of being there and being there when times are tough, you know, not shining away. And a lot of people that we've spoken to in the M&D community often say that people stop visiting, which, you know, is really sad, and people really need that support, and people just want to be treated, you know, as normal. And
I was going to say this morning as I was driving to work, I was thinking, oh, I must ask them what they're going to be doing next. And then all of a sudden, the press release landed on the desk this morning, which said, of course, you've got another huge challenge coming up, Kev, because you're going to do an extra mile on top of an ultra marathon.
Yeah, so it's great because we start in Leeds, and I think everybody back home listening will know how important Leeds is to Rob and I. We're not from Leeds, but Leeds has certainly been our city, and we love the place. So to thank the people who have supported us all the way through is great, and we'll do our best once again and try and represent the M&D community in the best possible way.
Well, we'll all be cheering you on here in Leeds, right across Yorkshire we'll be cheering you on. And the book is published, well, it's out tomorrow, is it?
Yeah, it's out tomorrow. Yeah, like I said, we're really proud of it, and I hope people take something from it. It'll be a book that you can probably read cover to cover in 2 or 3 minutes, but hopefully you refer back to it in difficult times, or we hope that people will reach out to friends they've not spoken to for a while and offer that helping hand.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll bring lots of comfort to
product
people.
to be proud of, that, Rob. Definitely something to be proud of.
It's lovely.
Yeah, thanks for coming in and telling us all about it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, and you've got it.
I have. So if you wanted to know what it's called With You Every Step, and it is a cracking read. It's lovely.
Yeah, really lovely. Now then, let's get the weather from Kerry.
Good visibility on the horizon. Tiri sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello again. Yes, a slow improvement into this afternoon after that pretty damp and blustery start this morning. Just a bit of autumnal colour giving a bit of light to the quite dull start to Wednesday. It did improve a little bit for the afternoon to slightly drier and brighter conditions, but still with some moderate to high cloud as we head through into the second part of the day. But rain pushed its way out into the North Sea, and we're starting to get those clear spells now, and they will be probably at their best over the next couple of hours or so. Later on in the night, we see another system working its way in from the northwest, so again generating a bit more cloud and the risk of some showery outbreaks into the early hours. Nothing too windy, but enough of a breeze to prevent us from getting too low, maybe in rural shelter a 3 or a 4 Celsius. So as we head into tomorrow, there are Eastern times for Thursday, 7:21 and 4:18. Tomorrow is definitely a mix of sunny spells and showery outbreaks, and the showers are likely to form in bands. They could be heavy, and there may be even a little bit of hail mixed in those heavier bursts at times as we head into the afternoon. It will feel fresher, not much higher than around 9 Celsius, and we stick with that fairly keen southwesterly breeze. Still a few showers at risk as we head into tomorrow evening, but as we head into Friday itself, it starts to calm down a little bit, and many inland areas will be dry and bright with a good dose of sunshine. Feeling chilly though, we've got a northwesterly flow, and that could bring some showers to exposed coastal areas as we head into the afternoon. It is mostly dry and clear, quite a chilly start to Saturday, the best day of the weekend, a good dose of sunshine. But under those clear skies, coupled with very light winds, a widespread frost into Saturday, dry start Sunday before going downhill for later.
Tiri sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
There you go. Showers tomorrow, but not too bad Friday. On Saturday, if you like it chilly.
Lovely. I'm not sure I do like it chilly, but thank you. I'm back with the late news, which is on at 10:30, if you'd like to see that.
Have a very good evening, won't you? See you again tomorrow at 6. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.